core compression, standing hip flexor, bent knee, overcoming isometric, and reps. If you're an adult gymnastics skill seeker working on your core compression strength for movements like L-sits, toes to bar, and pike flexibility, you're going to need strong hip flexors. This is where the standing, single leg, bent knee, hip flex exercise can help. Here's how it works. To perform this exercise, you're going to need an immovable object to push the top of your thigh into. You're also going to need a solid upright surface to hold onto. Here, I'm using a barbell in a squat rack as it's easily adjustable. It's best to place something soft around the immovable surface so it's comfortable to push your thigh into. You want to set the height of the immovable object to be just below the maximum height of your bent knee leg lift. When performing the overcoming isometrics, you want to actively push the top of your thigh into the immovable object. As strength and flexibility improves, you might be able to increase the height of the immovable object. To perform the overcoming isometrics, stand with your feet hip-width apart facing the squat rack. Hold onto the upright surface for support and focus on keeping your hips level. Contract the quads and glutes of the standing leg, as the goal is to keep the leg straight for the entire set. We often bend the knee of the standing leg to increase the height of the leg lift, but this is cheating the movement and doesn't isolate the hip flexors. From here, flex the hip of the working leg as you lift the thigh up to touch the immovable object. At the same time, bend the knee to shorten the lever length while keeping the torso as upright as possible and the hips facing forward. Once the top of the thigh is touching the immovable object, continue to contract the deep hip flexor muscles and actively push into the immovable object. It's as if you're trying to lift the immovable object. This creates an isometric contraction and allows us to strengthen the core compression muscles. Hold this active contraction for the prescribed time, anywhere from 3 to 30 seconds. Keep the standing leg straight, the torso as upright as possible, and the hips facing forward. Then, slowly lower the foot back to the floor. That's 1 rep. Depending on the prescribed active contraction time, the overcoming isometric can be performed for 1 to 10 repetitions. Now that we've fired up the hip flexors, let's do some repetitions. It's best to stand on an elevated surface, like a Reebok step, and hold onto a solid upright. Again, keep the standing leg straight by contracting the quads and glutes. Flex the hip and bend the knee of the working leg as you lift the thigh as high as possible, aiming to close the angle between the torso and thigh by contracting the deep hip flexors. Keep the hips level and facing forward as you perform the repetitions. Do not bend the knee of the standing leg or lean the torso back, as this is cheating the movement and not isolating the hip flexor muscles. It's best to hold the top position of each rep for 3 to 5 seconds before lowering the leg. If this is easy, you can load the movement by using ankle weights. You can also use a resistance band or a low cable machine. And you can attach a dumbbell to the bottom of your foot using a gymnastics ring strap, or you can place your foot inside the handle of a kettlebell. We can perform this standing single leg bent knee hip flexor exercise for repetitions of the overcoming isometric holds, just for repetitions, or for a combination of the two. Performing 3 reps of 10-second overcoming isometric holds, immediately followed by 8 to 10 repetitions with a 3-second hold at the top of each rep on each leg, is a good starting place for most people. Give it a try and see how you go. If you've got questions, please leave them in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.